name, take out loans using your equity.
3 months later, you start getting foreclosure notices, and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
Leaving you with a financial and legal nightmare. Find out if you're already a victim at HomeTitleLock.com.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active? Introducing the Easy Well Remedy Massage System, a triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Infrared heat penetrates deep to reduce pain, soothe, and relax. The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 heated nodes.
Media treating Trump compared to his original first term. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at immigration. Such big news this week on immigration and how the media reacted to a big press conference early in the week. We're also going to take a look at Michelle Obama's podcast. Take a look at big Supreme Court case happening against wokeness and children's books. And who happened to be bringing this case before the Supreme Court? That and more coming up on Media Exposed.
Do you dare to follow me down?
What they do say is fake news.
Head into the unknown.
That's how devious the media's become. They're full force activists now.
They colluded. Trump folks were in on it.
Down the rabbit hole.
Sways elections, sways policy. We need to expose them.
Republicans trash the country.
Where it stops, no one knows. We're going.
I've been doing this since I was 18. I've had hit jobs done against me. I've been attacked by media reporters. Am I afraid? No. Truth will prevail. Fake news media, we're here to call you out.
Head into the unknown.
Media Exposed with Adam Weiss starts now.
Welcome back to Media Exposed. I saw this story pop up over the weekend. It was the legendary coach Bill Belichick was being interviewed by the big morning show CBS this morning, and boy did it make news from left, right, medium, center. Everybody was commenting on it. Why? He has a girlfriend way younger than him, and she just jumped in and out of the interview, so it made for great fodder. It's a relationship that people might be envious of or jealous of, who knows, but we're going to talk about that. I want to bring my first guest in, Maureen Callahan. She's the host of Nerve, a new show on the Megyn Kelly, not the NK network, and a Daily Mail columnist. Maureen, thanks for joining us here on Media Exposed.
Thank you so much for having me, Adam.
But I saw this story just go viral. I don't know if it was left-wing media, right-wing media. Everybody jumped on it. And I'm saying, what? He came out with a book called The Art of Winning. I think Bill Belichick's a 5 or 6 time Super Bowl champ. He just wanted to give the advice. Happens to have a young girlfriend. I thought that was kind of his own business, his personal business. But I want to, before we start, I'd love to jump on this first cut. I'm going to show you cut 1. This was from the CBS Morning Show, his first interview, and after that, go. Watch this cut.
Do you feel like you were treated with dignity and respect when you were let go by Robert Kraft?
Yeah, well, it was a mutual decision for us to part ways.
He said fired.
It was a mutual decision.
The other change for Belichick is 24-year-old Jordan Hudson, his creative muse, as he writes in his book.
Make sure that that's the philosophy.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on, though Hudson has recently posted about it on Instagram.
You joined InstaFace, as you put it. I love that. There's some great pictures of you and Jordan, where you're a fisherman and she's a mermaid. It's charming. It's a different side of you. What's the reaction been like?
What's it been like?
To have these different sort of photos. There's another one where you're doing, I know you're not into meditation or yoga or Pilates. You're balancing Jordan on your feet and she's doing kind of the Titanic pose.
Yeah, so I'm on some of those social media platforms, but I honestly don't follow them.
What he does follow isn't clicks or views, but touchdowns and, above all, wins.
You do seem like you're having a lot more fun these days than you were in other chapters of your life, let's say.
I enjoy football. I enjoy the whole process of it. It's hard to win, and it's hard to beat other good coaches, good teams. I appreciate the grind. I appreciate the competition. But coaching's fun, and honestly, I feel like I haven't worked a day in my life.
Maureen, I see this as a Super Bowl winning champion. What do you want to do with his private life? But this story took a life of its own. And most people were calling out Bill Belichick because he's a young girlfriend. But I think what he does in his private life should have been his private life. They took that CBS, they spliced it, looked bad. She jumped in a comment. But if she would have jumped in, if she didn't jump in, they'd call, look at her, this little girl's not saying a word. But the fact that she jumped in, if it was a better issue, I think you see it through the lens of politics, everything. If it was a more focused issue, they'd call her a girl boss. But how do you see this story?
Oh, Adam, let me just alert you. Girl boss is dead. We killed it. The lexicon, it doesn't exist in the lexicon anymore. Women don't like it. They decided we don't use it. This story has legs for days. I'm actually about to write a column on this for the Daily Mail because the media is still talking about it. Like, it's highly unusual in this accelerated culture and news cycle in which we live for a story to last 4 days in the ether. And secondly, to your point, it's his private life, well, he's out hawking a book with her Velcro to his side. She seems to be running that show. She's using his fame and his career accomplishments to elevate herself on Instagram and other platforms. So we all get to talk about it. Bill Belichick was 49 years old when this woman was born. Okay. So she's sitting there on this CBS Sunday morning interview set, letting him speak to the nation in a torn, dirty sweatshirt. How much can she love him, Adam? How much?
True that, he should have had a wardrobe special. She could have dressed him a little better, but it is his private life. I remember the time when Bill Clinton was president, he would say, "You're private." And the media lectured us over and over again. He was fooling around with intern in the Oval Office. That's his private life. Let Bill Belichick have his private life, media, leave him alone. He wrote a book about winning. If that's what he wants, that's what he wants. He's a championship winner. I don't think they should crucify him to death because he has a super young girlfriend. That's his decision. We've always lectured, let's private life be private life. I want to talk about this other story, Axios, over the weekend, the big White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's almost like what the Hollywood is for the Golden Globes or Oscars or the Grammys for music, the nerd prom they call it. They all get together, they give each other awards, pat on the back. Trump decided to boycott it again, so most of his staff, they didn't show up either, but they still went ahead with it, big gala. Axios reporter Alex Thompson, he won this award, the Alex Beckman Award for courage, covering Biden, his decline. And the media cheered him on like it was like this big hurrah, like, where were you? It's like a little kid who's disrupting with his parents for a month. But 5 years, they finally cheer him on. Wait, we've been telling you this for 3 weeks. So let's go to this cut here. Cut 2. I want to show you what Alex Thompson says at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
The White House Correspondents Association is as necessary as ever. President Biden's decline and its cover-up by the people around him is a reminder that every White House, regardless of party, is capable of deception. But being truth tellers also means telling the truth about ourselves. We, myself included, missed a lot of this story, and some people trust us less because of it. We bear some responsibility for faith in the media being at such lows. I say this because acknowledging errors builds trust, and being defensive about them further erodes it. We should have done better. I believe This
is Alex. It's like the White House Correspondents' Maureen during the Biden administration was like a Broadway play. They'd all just sit there quietly and wait for the call one. Now it's back to, almost like a WWE fight with the press conferences with Carolyn Levitt, patting themselves on the back. How do you see that, Alex Thompson, and the whole group, him like lecturing them? I don't really see Axios too hard. I didn't see anybody doing in the what we call the legacy media coming too hard on Biden. That's why he survived for 5 years.
Well, I have a couple of things to say. One, I have been going to the dinner now for 3 years. I left early this year. It is ridiculous and disgusting. It's just a bunch of journalists, congratulating themselves. Last year was Biden's obviously final year, and everybody in the room, this is a room full of journos, was saying to each other, what do you think they shot him up with to keep him awake and speaking cogently at 9 p.m. at night? Because as we all knew, his day ended at 4 p.m., right? He worked a 4-hour day, like noon to 4. Everybody knew it was a massive cover-up. I think it's criminal. I think it's journalistic malpractice to use the passive language that this award winner is using. I'm not even going to say his name because this is gross. If he had any integrity, he would refuse to accept it, right? That entire room colluded to keep Biden's mental decline, his cognitive disabilities hidden from the public so that they could keep Trump from getting back in the White House.
I probably went a dozen times. Let me show you a couple of photos I had here for the audience and I went in 2000. That was my 18 ticket. I went in 2011. I went in 2013. I went in 2011 when, this is me and Kathy Griffin, right? Back, I think that was.
Oh, that's great.
But I went in 11 when Obama made about 5 or 6 jokes towards Trump. And I remember that moment and said, boy, is he livid? Is he pissed? And that was kind of started his revenge tour. I want to have you back. Thanks for joining us, Maureen. Good luck on your new show.
Thanks so much, Adam.
See you. Coming up next, we had 100 days and they had a big immigration press conference. We're going to talk about DART and how the media is covering it up. That and more coming up on Media Exposed.
Home warranty.
Focus.
On an American Home Shield warranty. It can protect your covered home systems like this AC.
Yes, thank you.
Don't worry, be warranty.
You worked hard to own your home, and it deserves complete protection because you've secured the doors, windows, and maybe even installed cameras. You've got an insurance for fire, flood, and theft. But there's one critical protection gap that leaves your entire investment vulnerable. Title fraud is a growing scam, and criminals know exactly how to exploit it. Is your home's title still in your name? Check your title now at HomeTitleLock.com.
The poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galena. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help rush a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
Welcome back to Media Exposed. Tom Homan, immigration enforcement czar, and Carol Levitt early in the week, they held a massive press conference touting their success with illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, the White House, they put the lawns with posters, they covered them, showing all the illegal criminals, illegal aliens that were over there. It was a great showcase to show the American people, this is who we've arrested, and this is who we're keeping America safe here. CNN, MSNBC, CBS, blurred them all out. I wonder why. We blur criminals out. Imagine a police department blurring out criminals when you're trying to keep the streets safe. We have criminal John Smith, but we're not going to show you what he looks like. Duh. So it doesn't make sense, but that's the media in 2025. The irony is, Rich, the same people who warned us that Trump would destroy democracy are now the ones undermining the rule of law to shield criminals and protect their political investments. You have probably also seen the crazy headlines of 2- and 4-year-olds being deported. Not true, but we'll talk about that. They're illegal mothers. They're here, and they're illegal fathers, and then they're asking, do you want to take your kids with you? I want to welcome my next guest, Dennis Deal, host of What's Bugging Me podcast, and he's author of a recent book, again, Leadership of Genius of Elon Musk. Dennis, it was a big press conference Tom Homan and Carol Levitt held early in the week, touting their success. It was unbelievable. January 20th through April 1st, illegals in this state. Last year, they stopped 184,000 illegals coming in. Actually, Biden led at the same time last year, led 184,000 illegals into this country from that time, January to April 1st. Trump administration, 9. So that's a big difference here with stopping it. I want to play a cut and show you at home and explains it early in the week. Let's go to cut 4.
On the first 100 days, what was actually January 20th to April 1st, last year, 184,000 illegal aliens were released into the United States. Under this administration, 9. 4 of them were material witnesses in a criminal investigation. We need them here to testify in a serious criminal trial. 4 was extreme medical condition. We couldn't return them because they were in such bad shape. And 1 was a humanitarian issue. This is unprecedented success. The border secure. President Trump saving lives. President Trump has proven no one does this better than President Trump. There is no equal, it's not even close.
Dennis, wouldn't you love the media the next day to write some stories, saving lives, fentanyl not coming into the country, murderers down, illegals being put, nothing. They're worried about the kid. And there's big stories. They're trying to attach onto every bizarre story. Children are being deported. No, the children are not being deported. Yeah. They're asking their parents, do you want to take your children with you? Yeah. How do you see?
It's such a terrible mischaracterization what the media are doing, at least part of them, right? I mean, my goodness, think of those numbers. I saw a number saying a 655% increase in arrests of illegal entrants into this country, a 95% decline in border crossing encounters, meaning they're not even trying to get over here anymore. And yet the media are obsessed with one El Salvadoran named Gilmar, my landlord, Abrego Garcia. And oh my gosh, he's got tattoos that might mean MS-13. He's had 2 federal judges and an informant say that he is indeed in MS-13, but let's turn him into a cause célèbre. Let's worry about these children who are allowed to go back to their home country with their mother. And this is their way of trying to debunk an effort that is resulting in the deportation. I think the number latest was 65,000 criminals that they've gotten rid of. But let's remember, the Biden administration left in, I believe it was 324,000 alien criminals who had been convicted of serious crimes in their home countries, and they let them come here.
Wow, brought such havoc into the United States. They don't care about the children that were murdered, the American children that was the mothers, but yet they're worried about an MS-13. Terry Moran, I'm going to show you this cut. Let's go to cut 12.5. I want to show you because he did an exclusive interview. The president gave Terry Moran of ABC an exclusive interview last night, and watch this little back and forth they had.
The letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
and you think it was Photoshopped? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but
they're in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay,
we'll take a look.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that,
Why don't you just say yes, he does, and go on to something else?
It's contested.
I love the way Trump won't let him up, Dennis. It won't let him get away with it.
Okay, but let me just say, Trump is wrong on one thing. All right, he's got tattoos that really kind of represent MS-13, but then a photo was released showing the translation, and so they superimposed an M over the marijuana leaf, right? There's the M, marijuana leaf, and an S over a smiley face, S for smiley. And then they did a 1, and it was a cross, I guess as in God is number 1. And then they did a 3, and it was a skull, and there's some kind of link supposedly between a skull and the number 3 perhaps. And then, though, to make it clear to the public, they put an M over the marijuana leaf. And so Trump saw that, and he thought that the guy had tattooed the MS literally, when really instead it's symbolic. But we don't even need that to prove that this guy is dirty, because we've got 2 federal judges, an informant, and the fact that he himself testified that, oh gosh, if you send me back, I could be killed by this gang. Why would an innocent guy who's not a gang member be threatened by another gang? And lastly, the ex-husband of his wife, because they call him a father, but really he's a stepdad of 2, and he's a father of a third kid, I think. So, yes, he's a father. But the ex-husband filed a court order that just showed up on X today, and I checked it with Grok for authenticity, and it's authentic. And the husband said, look, my children are in danger, my 2 children. I want to get them back from my ex-wife because her boyfriend is a gang member. So what are the Democrats doing? Why have they turned one guy and argued that he came here illegally, but now he gets due process, and so do 12 million other illegal invaders? I don't think so.
I mean, this is who they champion. It's ridiculous. It's not worthy of news stations to do this, but it seems like this is what they're grasping onto in Trump's second term. First time around, they went after his businesses, they went after his family. This time, they're going out the most terrible policies protecting, and it's really, beneath their journalistic integrity. Let's go to cut 5. I want to show you how CNN decided to cover these posters that were on the lawn.
The Trump administration is approaching its first 100-day mark with a full court press on the issue of illegal immigration, and they really don't want you to miss it. So they subtly and tastefully deck the White House North Lawn with dozens of yard signs featuring photos of people that the Trump administration claims are in the country illegally, each poster saying arrested and listing the alleged offensive with which they have been charged. CNN's working to confirm the identities and if there are actual allegations against these people. Until then, we are blurring their identities.
Why is CNN verifying the identities? They're arrested, the FBI, the Homeland Security, and they're showing you these bad people. Could you imagine a police department, Dennis, police departments across the country blurring criminals? How would the public know?
CNN did this. MSNBC did this. CBS did this. Why are they so racing to protect people who've been arrested for horrible crimes? Child rape. Okay. I mean, they didn't refused to publish the photo of Robert Kraft, owner of the New England Patriots, when he was arrested in Tampa at the Super Bowl some years ago during the first Trump term for sex trafficking or something, because he, had a happy ending in a massage parlor down there or something. Oh yeah, we'll print the photos and the names of Johns that we arrest and destroy their lives, or try to, or get them fired from their jobs. But let's be sure to blur the photos of these illegal aliens. My gosh, but you know why? They're acting as if it's not enough that our government said they've been arrested for these crimes. That's not enough to prove it to CNN and MSNBC. No, they've got to go out there and verify it themselves, which they're not going to do. They're never going to unblur those photos.
Dennis, do you think the dozens and dozens of press conferences they did against these January 6th insurrectionists, these terrible people that decided to walk around the congressional halls, do you think they'd ever blur their faces? Ever? They were splattered across papers. Their lives were ruined. They were in solitary confinement for 2 or 3 years. Not any and meanwhile, the media is blurring rapists and criminals.
That is a great point. They're providing less protection to American citizens than they were to criminals, because to cross into this country illegally makes you instantly a criminal. I don't care what else you say about it. You just are. Okay. Right there in some small way. But then 324,000 real criminals. Why have the media taken up permanent opposition, lapdog to the Democrats? They hate Trump no matter what. You look at the interpretation of the 100 days, the first 100 days, and Trump MAGA world, man, we're feeling like, this is what I voted for. This is what I live for. It's fantastic. And then you hear Rachel Maddow on MSNBC, this is a tragedy, a terrible crisis. I mean, the left is practically suicidal, and they choose to be that way. Hope is a decision. And so is depression for these guys.
Dennis, thanks for joining us. We'll continue this discussion soon. Thank you again.
I enjoyed it, man. Have a great day.
Thank you. Up last, the Supreme Court case the media doesn't want you to know. They don't even know how to cover it. And we're going to talk about Michelle Obama, her podcast, and her interviews coming up next on Media Exposed.
Being able to have something to always protect myself, this Byrna allows me to have that peace of mind no matter where we're really at.
It provides you with peace of mind. Not only that you can thwart the threat, but that you don't have to take a life in order to do so.
With the Byrna, you have the situation where now you're able to make yourself prepared for what might actually happen once you get there.
Of all the materials I use as a realtor, Byrna just fits in with all of that, and it's something that I don't think I'll ever need, but I'll be really glad that I have.
The FBI calls it house stealing, the latest scam where a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name and steals your hard-earned equity.
It's roughly 60 to 90 days for that person to even figure out that they're the victim of this crime. You start getting foreclosure notices and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
Unfortunately, it's on you to protect yourself. You might already be a victim. Check your title status now at HomeTitleLock.com.
US Med, a trusted supplier of diabetes equipment for nearly 30 years, has great news for people living with diabetes and the pain of regular testing. New Medicare and private insurance guidelines have expanded coverage for continuous glucose monitors, even for people not using insulin. The days of repeated, painful finger sticks are over. Now you can wear a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, and eliminate routine finger sticks. US Med has the newest models of CGM, which are more accurate and convenient than ever. CGMs are shown to lower your A1C, increase your time in range, and reduce the risk of hypoglycemic events. Shipping is free, and will even bill your insurer directly. Don't spend one more painful day testing your blood sugar. Call now to get your continuous glucose monitoring system so you can take control of your diabetes and get back to enjoying life.
Call US Med now.
Don't you hate that dirty old hose? It kinks, splits, and it always leaks. And it's way too heavy to carry around. It's time to get the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead. Just turn on the water and watch it grow to a full-size hose. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the new Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees. Just connect to the spigot and watch it pivot. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking back to a pocket-size hose. And it makes it easy to carry and put away. Call or go online now to get the super light 25-foot pocket hose Copperhead today for only $29.99. Order right now and get our 10-pattern thumb drive spray nozzle free. Simply use your thumb to turn it on or off. There is a strict limit of 3 per order, so don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-956-8517 or visit getcopperhead.com. So call 1-800-956-8517 or visit getcopperhead.com. Order now.
Welcome back to Media Exposed. It's been 100 days early in the week of Trump's second presidency. And how is the media covering compared to his first presidency, compared to Biden's presidency? We're going to take a look at that. And every Biden issue, every issue, they covered up, it seemed like. They wouldn't even cover it at times. But now even the well-respected Wall Street Journal has gone into hysteria mode with its alarming warning of a Trump failed presidency 3 months into the presidency. I believe this polls show, and MS Newsbusters, for poll, and other polls showed 92% negative coverage of Trump in the media. 92%. New executive orders, common sense, border policies, all get spun as extreme. I want to welcome my next guest, Justine Murray. She's a TV host at Newsbusters, the Media Research Center. Justine, thanks for joining us again, as always.
Great to be back.
The mainstream media can't even take the heat of there's such self-importance, right? And what I noticed compared to the first time around, these issues that are coming up, because the first time around he was so fresh and new, Trump. So they were going after his personal life. They were going after the hotels. They were going after his son Eric's charity. Now he's full steam ahead. He's gangbuster. What do you want to call him? It's shock and awe. But they're defending the craziest policies, the media. It's one after the other that they're defending. Everything that they do, they defend, even if it's common sense. Murderers, gangsters, rapists. Last night, Terry Moran, they gave exclusive interview. I don't know why he's giving these such bias. People should call you in or others to do an interview with him, but they're defending these MS-13. Terry Moran, ABC News, was arguing about the tattoo. And Trump's like, I'll bring you the picture. I'll show you. And he says, no. But what do you think compared to this time around, compared to the first presidency? How do you see the difference? And go ahead.
Yeah, well, the Media Research Center covered that 89% of their coverage of President Trump's first 100 days in office in the first administration, 89% was negative. So now they've amped up the terrible coverage, painting him as a dictator. And suddenly the media has discovered this new term called due process. But for them, due process means letting illegals flood in, letting terrorists flood in. President Biden let in nearly 100 terrorists, released them into this country. They were on the terror watch list. But then you have a PBS, state-funded PBS, crying right now that President Trump marked his first 100 days in office and his second term as a path towards lawlessness. Meanwhile, the media served as mouthpieces for a narco-tyranny for the past couple of years, and they're egging on a narco-tyranny once again in the name of due process for society's worst offenders.
Did they care about due process when they rounded up 1,000 people on January 6th that just walked around the halls, did nothing wrong? They care about due process when they stormed Mar-a-Lago, going through Melania's stuff? It's ridiculous. Did they care about due process when they went after Bannon and Roger Stone? Nope, not the slightest. All of a sudden, now they're so into due process, and with that judge, when they arrested the judge, they keep saying Trump arrested her. It's not Trump arrested her. But let's go to cut 7 here. It's CBS Evening News was showing how they showed his poll numbers after 100 days.
Tomorrow is day 100 of President Trump's second term, and more than half the Americans CBS News polled told us that is enough time to judge his administration.
So here is how they judge it. 45% approve of the job he's doing, 55% disapprove.
And on the number one issue in the past election, the economy, 58% disapprove of the way he is handling it.
For one thing, 63% told us they believe Trump policies, which include tariffs and a trade war, are driving food prices higher.
Those are some of the perceptions of the economy and of the president on the eve of his 100th day.
It's amazing how they gaslight us, Joe. You know, they 92% negative. I saw Newsbust's media research, and they did say, I saw something today was early in the week. It was 100% negative for Pete Hegseth, like 92% or something close for Robert Kennedy Jr., maybe 88%, and Elon Musk had 95%. All three of them had the most negative coverage from the media. Then they go about and do polls. Do you remember any polls during Biden's presidency after 3 months? I don't remember any polls to go after you.
They just brush it aside. And it's kind of funny to see how all these legacy media journalists, they were wafting in each other's flatulence at the White House Correspondents' Dinner this weekend, claiming, oh, they're so objective because they were the last ones to finally admit, close to when President Biden was done, they finally admitted that he was basically a geriatric patient after they had suppressed other media outlets and censored people, deemed people crazy for believing their own eyes and ears that President Biden was unable to lead. He was barely coherent.
But then they give one of their legacy medias, Alex Thompson from Axios, an award for his courage. I can give you a list of 100 journalists out there, center to moderate to right, was screaming at the top of our lungs for 5 years that Biden should be in a nursing home or Biden should be laying on the beach full time, not in that Oval Office. That was the courage, not some Axios who started writing a few articles here and there, but they like to pat themselves on the back over and over again. It's ridiculous. But they do these polls. They undersampled Republicans, like they'll sample 34%. When you dig deeper, they'll undersample, and then they come out and get the poll results they want. Then they splatter the news everywhere, and then they go in for comments. It's just they're gaslighting us. They're doing the same thing they did the first time around. Do you think it's going to work, or is there enough other media establishment out there or center right media to back this up and keep the president strong?
It's not working. Actually, a recent Gallup poll shows that the media, the legacy media, is one of the least trusted institutions in this country. People are not confident. Specifically, this Gallup poll showed that people are not confident about television media and newspaper media, those two mainstream network legacy media types. People are not confident in it anymore. And that's what you're seeing. People are resorting to Tim Pool, to podcasters, to people who are actually reporting on the news, and they're not just reporting a leftist agenda.
But you mentioned Tim Pool. He's a massive podcaster, one of the top picks. Probably gets 1 million views a night. They put him in the special seat that Karen Levitt set up. And he asked the question, I believe it was last week, and he says, we come in here and sit here, and the media does hit jobs on us. They go after us, do negative articles. What are you going to do about it? He asked Karen Levitt. As he's asking that question, they're all doing hit jobs on him. They call him a Russian propagandist, the person who took Russian money, right-wing fringe. So she's opening up, and the legacy media goes after the alternative media. Is it jealousy? They can't open it up? Please face it. This is a new time, a new era, and they should have a little bit of respect, the media, but they're so full of themselves, I think they can't even, come to the grips that this is a new era and a new time, right?
You've hit the nail on the head. I think it's partial jealousy, but also they just cannot self-reflect. This is what happens when you hire a bunch of activists to be journalists. And suddenly we're seeing the legacy media this week pretend to be jurors. In the courts of the network courts, you have illegal aliens and convicted and charged, both sex offenders, being hailed as innocent heroes, and their faces are being blurred out. And when anybody tries to call them out, they'll do exactly what they've been doing forever. They'll accuse the other guy. They'll accuse someone who's actually putting them in their place of being the propagandist. So it seems to me that they're pulling the "I know what you are, but what am I" tactic.
Yeah, I know. So I want to go to, another cut here. Let's go to cut 8. It's Brett Baer of Fox News. And he was talking about his own poll results.
President talking tariffs and the economy. If you look at our new Fox News poll at 100 days job approval compared to other presidents, there you see the president at 44%, and you see his first term at 45% at this mark, the 100-day mark. We have other new polls that are revealing some concerns about the economy. Let's talk about that.
Why are they doing polls anyway? It's 3 months into 100 days into his presidency. It takes time to do anything in life. Of course, it's going to take time for his policies to make its way through. You know, you all because he says, let's do this policy today. It has to go through government process. It has to go work. It has to get through the economic, whether it's economic or social. But what's their obsession with polls? Just to make him look bad, right? They want to get the result they want, make him look bad. And it seems like we're in 2017 time all over again. But I want to go to cut 3. It's Seth Meyers telling Democrats to get in line. Watch this.
Democrats. Now is not the time to nitpick the messaging of other Democrats. Instead of critiquing someone else's message, go out there and do your own thing and give voters the choice they were deprived of this last election. Take a cue from the ones who are actually going out there doing and getting attention for it. Because if there's one thing Donald Trump is good at, it's getting attention. Nobody knew what the Hunter's laptop was, but then he just said it over and over again until eventually every uncle at Thanksgiving finally stopped talking about Hillary's server.
Justine, luckily there's groups like you, Media Research Centers, calling these people out. People at 12:30 at night don't want to hear to be lectured about politics. They want to hear humor, comedy, and relax. I think the late night comedian talk shows have gotten worse. Give me your final thoughts on that.
It's funny that he said that Democrats need to try to get more attention when they're out cheering for jihad in our streets. They can't say what gender they are. They're out running around naked during these so-called Pride months and dressing up as drag queens. So you think they brought enough attention to themselves. They're the party of attention seekers. But he said right there, he stated, Democrats, don't you dare actually self-reflect and maybe look inward, look within your own party and see what mistakes you've made that you can correct. No, that's for Biden.
Thanks, Justine. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Thank you again. Up next, the Supreme Court is covering this big case, a book case about craziness, LGBTQ cases, but the media doesn't know how to cover it. I wonder why. I'm going to tell you that and more coming up on Media Exposed.
Did you know that somebody could literally steal your house? Yeah, that is a thing that happens. It is when a criminal forges your signature on one document, uses one fake notary stamp, they then take out loans using your home equity, and the worst part of it is, you don't even know it's happening until you start getting collections and foreclosure notices. This right here is why you need to use Home Title Lock.
Find out if you're already a victim. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
Introducing the Onion, the non-lethal self-defense platform. Lightweight and simple to use. It uses an easy-to-load 5-round magazine and is powered by an 8-gram CO2 cartridge. Byrna launchers fire a 68 caliber chemical-filled projectile using a patented pull-pierce technology where the CO2 canister is only punctured on the first trigger pull, meaning your launcher is always at the ready. It's capable of incapacitating an attacker for over 30 minutes and is accurate and effective at over 60 feet. It requires no permits, no background checks, and is interstate travel friendly. With Byrna, you will be prepared to defend.
It's just like our new house.
I hope you have an American Home Shield warranty. Leaky toilet? Fixed. Oven beyond repair? If AHS can't fix your covered item, then replace it, no matter its age. Sign up today at ahs.com.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active than before? Introducing the EasyWell Remedy Massage System that combines the incredible effects of vibrational therapy, targeted deep tissue shiatsu massage, plus soothing infrared heat. A triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Look at these beads moving from the powerful vibrational motors.
It's like 1,000 little fingers just vibrating my body from head to toe.
Infrared heat penetrates deep to reduce pain, soothe, and relax.
Remedy gets in there and helps deal with the source of the pain, so you feel much better.
The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 infrared heated nodes mimics a professional massage. Plus, it's detachable for deep relief anywhere you need it.
It's just something that you're gonna have to feel for yourself.
Experience the true remedy for your pain and stiffness. Call now.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
Welcome back to Media Exposed. There's a big case before the Supreme Court, Maryland School District. These Muslim parents went and sued the local school district because they're being forced to show their kids LGBTQ books. They just want to opt out of it, and that's the case right now. But the media doesn't know what to do, right? Because there's hierarchies in the PC world, like the woke world. Muslims, kind of a protected class. LGBT, protected class. Which side do we take? Who do we go after? Two of the sacred cows. Parents aren't banning books. They're just demanding respect for their values. That's America. Schools spent $1 million fighting parents. Instead of just saying, okay, you can opt out, they're fighting them all the way to the Supreme Court, not teaching kids to read shameful smut. Meanwhile, elite universities would go into full meltdown mode as they threat to lose billions of dollars. They're fighting that too. A little anti-Semitism. Funding issues are large and loom over them. Rather than spending money on educators, they spent it on lobbyists to fight the Trump administration. The media champions them on and on. They don't want to cut it out of their nonsense, but they're free to use their endowments as they must. I'm going to welcome my next guest, Jacqueline Toberoff. She's an activated mother, author, writer of Super Moms too, and activated on Substack, right? Jacqueline, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Jacqueline, this is this case before the Supreme Court. I want to go to a cut. It's this Maryland School District Muslims, which if we look at it, we cover politics, we cover PC and the way the media, Muslims seems to be always a protected class. And the LGBTQ, I'm missing a few letters probably, but they're another sacred cow of the media. So I'm looking, I'm saying, wow, they're not really going after either one too hard. I wonder why. Two sacred groups. Let's go to cut 10. Listen to the way Justin Clarence Thomas asked about this case.
The books themselves teach, for example, that children...
I mean, what I'm talking about is not necessarily what the books say, but rather is that are the books just there and no more, or are they actually being taught out of the books?
No, we know that the teachers are required to use the books. When the books were first introduced in August of 2022, the board suggested they be used 5 times before the end of the year. That's in the that's at 273A in the CERT appendix. One of the schools, the Sherwood School in June, for Pride Month said that they were going to read 1 book each day to celebrate Pride Month. The board's own testimony through Superintendent Hazel said that the books must be used as part of the instruction. And that at 642 in the appendix, that discussion will ensue. That was the entire point of withdrawing the opt-outs and removing, even notifying parents. They're not even allowed to know. The board said in that statement it was so that every student would be taught from the inclusivity storybooks. And also the district court transcript at 63 has counsel's admission that some of the books have to be used and it can be more.
The school board... Jacqueline, isn't it sad? It's all the way at the Supreme Court and the school district's fighting it over $1 million. And Eric Baxter, who represents the parents, the Muslim parents, it's the Catholic parents, saying they were forcing them to read a book every single day between LGBTQ month. I mean, I never knew, why did they have to have a whole month? Who gets a whole month of holidays, Jacqueline?
Right. There were lots of interesting things here. The fact that they will not allow the opt-out and they do it in secrecy shows me that they know what the temperature is on this subject. The overwhelming majority do not want it, and they are pushing. Academia is owned by the left. It is pushing a woke agenda. But now we get to the pyramid of intersectionality and how that is going to stack up. So they've been very vocal about, going woke, these institutions of education here in America. And now we have a conundrum. This is a real liberal conundrum. What do? Muslim parents do not like the LGBTQ agenda, which the schools have been pushing. So we're going to see how this falls. What's also going to be interesting is to see how states in blue enclaves react once the decision comes out early this summer, because they've been doubling down. They are ignoring the Trump agenda, and they very well might ignore this as well.
I like the way, and it sounded the way Justice Thomas said, wait, are they just in the class or they're actually being forced to read it? So he didn't even know that, right? The justice. I wonder how the other justices react. I want to show you a cut here how Bill Maher reacted to this case. He talked about it last week too. Cut 11.
They do not want trans books that teach kids that some people are trans in the schools. And here's Justice Amy Coney Barrett. She's quoting from one of the books. When we're born, people make a guess about our gender and label us boy or a girl based on our body parts. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. No, I think that's bull. Okay? No, they're almost always right. If you have a you're almost always a boy. And this... I think it's okay to teach kids, there's a default setting for humans, and if you're not part of that default setting, it doesn't make you a worse person. These things happen. I mean, it's on the right. They don't even believe that trans is a thing. It is a thing. But it's not a thing that happens like this, where, well, we don't know, jump ball, every baby's such a thing. And even Elena Kagan, one of the most liberal judges, said, I suspect there are a lot of non-religious parents who also weren't all that thrilled about this. This is the kind of issue, it's one of those 80-20 issues that the Democrats have been on the wrong side of.
Even Bill Maher admits it's an 80-20 issue, Jacqueline, and we see it. How bad is it still in the New York City system, too?
Yeah, it's really bad. Here in New York City Council, they just passed a bill with a lot of this same woke language and inclusivity for the LGBTQ and its impact on education. This is a blue state, and education has been returned back to the individual states. And we're going to see very soon what happens here, because parents, as Bill Maher said, file this under things we already know. We issued a mandate on November 5th, and every single neighborhood in New York City shifted red for Trump, including the most liberal borough, New York City, Manhattan, which went 11 points. Parents reject this. We do not want to sexually exploit children. And here's the thing about that. Academia is owned by the left. Sexual education was introduced to schools in 1912. We have right now Marxists, Islamo-Marxists teaching our children. And this is really where the rubber meets the road, because how are these two groups going to coalesce? Their ideologies are definitely pro taking down America, but that's where they separate now when it comes to the LGBTQ. Again, it's going to be really interesting to see this pyramid of intersectionality.
You make an interesting point. They both are anti-American, right? But yet the Muslims don't want their kids to be taught this gross smut because, they're very isolated, conservative when it comes down to their own family, and ridiculous that we've allowed this stuff into the public schools. And it's amazing that Maryland School District is fighting this. All the parents want to do is opt out. I want to jump to this other story. Carolyn Levitt, because you're a big activist and Substack, and she opened up the media room. She created her own media room for moderate to conservative podcasters, people who have big followings on Instagram, Substack, and she had the first hearing early in the week. I want to show you this question that Sean Spicer asked her. Let's go to cut 12.
You've done a phenomenal job opening up the briefing room, bringing in new voices, the president's commitment during the campaign to do long-form podcasts. was, I think, extremely helpful to this new media environment that we live in. But a lot of conservatives will ask me, why does he sit down with people like Terry Moran of ABC or Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic? What is the rationale behind that, rewarding people who have very vehemently expressed disdain for him personally?
Because the president is unafraid, and he is inspired by competition, and he likes to talk to people face to face. And I think that's one of his best attributes and qualities. We live in an incredibly divisive country, unfortunately, that has been really the result and consequence, frankly, of the fake news and the hoaxes and lies they have driven at this president for the better part of the last decade now. But the fact that we still have a president who has been a victim of these hoaxes, these lies, these smears by so many legacy media outlets and reporters, yet he's still...
I think Trump, Jacqueline, likes the legacy media because he was a celebrity his whole life, and they used to cover him lovely, and, it was all about celebrity and everything he did. But ever since he put up his hand and said, I'm a conservative, came down that escalator, they've tore him to pieces, and he wants to get that back, but it's not going to happen because he did give Terry Moran ABC, and it was really brutal what happened. So do you think, let me get your final thought, do you think he should reward people that have been criticizing him for now it's been 9 years, going after him because he decided to be a Republican, or no?
Trump is rewarding the American public. That's what's happening here. I watched that Terry Moran interview. It was similar in some ways to the Biden debate with Trump. What Trump is doing is he is letting the American public see what the Democrat Party is. Its core constituency are illegals, Islamists, and criminals. They have absolutely no policies that benefit Americans. And watching that Terry Moran, the thing that struck me the most was Trump is this eternal optimist. He is literally showing me and showing the public that you have people on legacy media rooting for our failure. They're rooting for our failure. And President Trump is rooting for our success, which I think is why people have given him latitude, during these tariffs and other things he during these first 100 days.
You missed one more part of the Democratic base, the media. So thank you, Jacqueline, for joining us. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. A word from our partner sponsor at Hotel Planner. Are you frustrated with how confusing it is these days to find and book a good hotel for yourself, for your family? People at Hotel Planner, the groups at Hotel Planner, the executive have been around for over 20 years. No AI bot. You'll speak to a real human. If you call their reservation line, you'll speak to not a chatbot. Like I said, Hotel Planner, it's high tech, it's high touch. Go to Hotel Planner today and discover the world. HotelPlanner.com. I'd like to thank Fran and Erin in the control room for doing a good job. Jack and Toborough for joining us. Dennis Neal for joining us. Justine Murray from the Media Research, and Maureen Callahan from the Nerve and the Daily Mail. We'll see you next week on Media Exposed.
The FBI calls it house stealing, the latest scam where a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name and steals your hard-earned equity.
It's roughly 60 to 90 days for that person to even figure out that they're the victim of this crime. You start getting foreclosure notices and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
Unfortunately, it's on you to protect yourself. You might already be a victim. Check your title status now at HomeTitleLock.com.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
Don't you hate that dirty old hose? It kinks, splits, and it always leaks. And it's way too heavy to carry around. It's time to get the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead. Just turn on the water and watch it grow to a full-size hose. It stretches and expands like a rubber band. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the new Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees. Just connect to the spigot and watch it pivot. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking back to a pocket-size hose. And it makes it easy to carry. and put away. Copperhead. It's the hose that grows and pivots, flexes, and sprays. It puts itself away for another day. The pocket hose is so unique and so innovative, it was awarded over 100 patents. Call or go online now to get the super light 25-foot pocket hose Copperhead today for only $39.99. But wait, order right now and you'll receive an instant $10 discount. So it's only $29.99. And it gets better. Order right now and get our copper spray nozzle with our exclusive thumb drive free. Simply use your thumb to turn it on or off. And with 10 unique patterns, you'll have a setting for every job. A $30 value. Yours free with every 50-foot Copperhead. Plus, Copperhead comes with a full 10-year warranty. It's that durable. That means you can order right now with total confidence. But this special offer is not available in stores or on Amazon. So order right here, right now. And with rising costs, this may be your last chance at this low price. There is a strict limit of 3 per order. So don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-957-6191 or visit getcopperhead.com. So call 1-800-957-6191.
3, 2, 1. Hey, America, it's Sunday. We're coming to you straight from Washington, D.C.
We're live from the White House with breaking news.
Brian Glenn.
Yes. My question is, bringing you the stories that matter.
You're putting the American people first. Your thoughts on that?
Thank you. I like that question. Boy, I want more questions like that.
And the conversations you won't hear anywhere else.
It is a privilege to report from the White House.
Why don't you wear a suit? Do you own a suit? I think he's a great guy, by the way.
A superstar in the media world, Brian Glenn.
Trump was right about everything.
Mr. President, I'll take one.
Brian, you're not a suit.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
It's Sunday in America with real America's voice. Now, here's your host, Brian Glenn.
Good to see you bright and early on this Monday morning. As you know, this week